Hello and welcome back to the Smart Start Recreational Therapy Insights YouTube series by Smart CU's Hub. My name is Nathan Lamaster, your host of this series and founder of Smart CU's Hub. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It is episode number 37. Can you believe it? And this week, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of recreational therapists that manage departments or own their own business or work for some place have to really take into account besides actually just offering therapy, but it's fundraising. So we're going to talk about budgets and we're going to talk about fundraising. So chances are your budget isn't limitless, right? You're not Elon Musk. Anyways, but we're going to talk about how to raise money in some, conventional, unconventional ways. Okay, we're going to talk about how to stretch every single dollar so that you get the most out of the money that you do have and to create programs that don't break the bank. Guys, thank you for tuning in. And without further ado, let's dive on in. So why do recreational therapists need to know about budgeting and fundraising? So to put this plainly, you work for a business, right? You either work for a hospital, nonprofit, you own your own business, one of those things, right? And the money that comes in, you are not the owner of. You are the steward of that money, okay? So I want to point that out. If I was to give you $1,000 and I said, with this $1,000, I want you to be smart with it. I want you to be able to use it for things that will enhance whatever program we're doing. And I want you to show me that you are a good steward of the money that I gave you. Okay, so that is what stewardship is. Okay, so when you work for a system and they say, this is the money that I am allocating towards the recreational therapy budget, okay, and you are the one in charge of making sure that money is spent well, that is why this is important. Okay, it could be figuring out ways to bring in cash, right? Bring in money, which is that fundraising part. Or it could be how you spend the money, okay? And what that will do over time is you'll be able to show the place that you work that you're good with their money, right? And when you're good with a little, typically they give you more when you ask for it because you've been able to show that you know how to stretch a dollar, you know how to make it work, you know how to bring in cash because you understand the underlying principles of the business that you're in, and you understand your role in making that a profitable business. Okay, so whether you're being altruistic in the reason you work, at the end of the day, money is important because without some sort of money coming in and wise stewards of that money, you and a lot of your coworkers would have no job. Okay, at the end of the day, you wouldn't be able to help anybody doing what you're doing without being smart with that money and that facility and that business that you're part of. So altruistic goals aside, right? That is why this is important. Okay. All right, let's talk some basic budgeting techniques for recreational therapists. Let's talk some numbers, guys. So every good program needs to start with a budget. Okay, and what that means is you need to know how much money is coming in, whether that's the hospital or the place that you're working at allocates a certain amount of dollars to the recreational therapy program, or you own your own business and you need to know, okay, for my recreational therapy business, I need to know how much money is coming in so I can figure out where the best use of each of these dollars is. Okay, so just like in your personal finance, you're going to be doing this for your business, okay? And that isn't even your money, okay? That's the business that you're working for's money. Okay, so things that could go into that, we're going to break down the budget expenses into line items. So you might have an Excel spreadsheet or you might do it some other way, but those line items could include things like staffing, okay? Equipment and supplies, transportation if you're going to and from places, space or facility rental, if that's part of it. Okay, insurance for the event, if that is part of what you're paying for. Marketing or outreach. So how are we going to get people there? You might have a budget specifically for reaching people so that they show up. Okay, so those types of things. And if you're in a hospital system, right, a lot of times it's going to be, what supplies you're going to need to be able to do your therapy and group programming. Okay, so it could be just something as simple as that, right? Bigger budgets might be needed for bigger things where you're having to spend a lot of money. The hospital might be paying for the facility. For instance, if you work in a hospital, they're paying for that facility so that you could do the group in that facility. So you're not having to pay for that out of the recreational therapy budget, but they're doing that out of their budget. Okay, so that's something to take into consideration, how much money is coming in and where is it going. So make a spreadsheet. I want you to do that now. Okay, get on Excel, learn how to use it, use Google spreadsheet, whatever the program is that you use to have neat little boxes with lines in them so that you can see this line item equals this amount. Okay, that's basically what it is. Okay, and not only it helps keep your program in check, but it also helps you to prove to those that gave you that budget that you are being a good steward of their money. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you want more money and you're complaining about how much money your department has, have you really been good with that money? Have you shown the leadership what you're spending it on? Maybe that's not even something they've asked of you to show specifically what you spend it on, but maybe you could take your skills up a notch and show them, okay, I spent it on these things. You gave me this much money. This is what I was able to do with it. If you gave me more money, this would be what I would be able to do with it. Okay, so that really helps those in leadership, those that are creating the budgets, to know, should I invest in this? Should I give more money to the RT department? All right, now we're going to talk about fundraising. Let's talk about some fundraising ideas that actually work. Okay, so here are some ideas that are tailored to the recreational therapy world. We could partner with a local business in our area and sponsor an event or donate items to get the word out, right? Or they could partner with us, right? And let's say advertising in our program helps bring awareness to their business, so they give us money in exchange for that marketing. Okay, so that could be a way for money to come in. Host a themed community event. So that could be a talent show. Maybe you charge admission to the talent show. Could be carnivals, walkathons, things like that. Car washes. Those are great ways to bring in some money. Could be something your staff makes or your clients make. Let's say you work in a nursing home and you have some people that are really good at making things like sewing and crocheting and woodworking or whatever the thing might be. Okay, not only are you providing an activity and some sort of purpose that people desperately need, they need to know that what they're doing actually matters, right? But then let's say that they're able to raise some money for the department that provides them something to do and some sort of purpose. They'll be like all about that, right? So if I can raise $1,000, guess what we get to do this year? We get to go do this, or we get to have this thing. Those types of things. So not only does it motivate the bottom line and the numbers, but it also motivates the clients a lot of times. Okay, so you can apply for grants. So there are a lot of grants out there. A lot of companies that want to donate money either to honestly to save money on their taxes because they're going to have to give it to the government anyway, and they might as well give it to an organization that is doing some sort of good, right? And so typically that's unfortunately, that is sometimes the motivation is because of just like, I don't have to pay the government as much money. I'd rather do this. It might make them look good for PR, whatever the real reason is. But at the end of the day, that money is available and you're able to utilize it for your programs. Okay, so you can use an online fundraising program. There are different types of things. So like, let's say it's a community-based center that you're doing this for. So you provide special Olympics or special some sort of community event for people who have special needs. Okay, And in your community, people might get behind that idea of providing this event, and you can have an online fundraiser where they share it on Facebook or something else where that money can then be used for that event. That's another great idea. You can sell products made by clients, like we talked about earlier, right? That doesn't have to be limited to the nursing home. That could be in a lot of other areas as well. But those things can be used as fundraising tools. So the key is to make it personal, right? Appeal to why somebody would want to help you, or why there's a reason beyond just the money, right? And that's when you motivate people and you get to see, okay, money is just the vehicle to be able to do these things. It's not the end goal. All right, we're going to talk about grant writing basics now. Okay, this is not a full on how to write grants session. Maybe we'll do that later. But this will actually kind of give you an idea of what some key components are in grant writing. So, a lot of times people are intimidated by the whole process. They're like, how do you even write a grant? Okay, so really, at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're trying to appeal to someone else or a business of why they should give you their money. Okay, that's what it all boils down to. There's a general structure to how typically like that would look. For instance, front loading, talking about what your program is doing, how many people you've been able to help, what the goals are for your program, all that stuff, and really kind of pointing out to the person and personalizing it to the person or the business that you're reaching out to on that front page, talking about how awesome they are and how much they've been able to help in the past, or they've been able to give to these certain things, and you're kind of buttering them up in a way. But having this all on the front page is really important, because a lot of times people don't read past that front page, or if they do, it's like skimming. Okay, so front loading it is really a key component. And you're going to start with a problem and how their money can provide a solution to that problem. That's how the logic works in their head. Okay, so you're going to outline your program. You're going to share the outcomes. If you've had previous case studies where your program has done something specific or awesome, you want to point those out and kind of show people that it's not just me talking about it, it's actually results. And then they, at the end of the day, will make the decision partially based off of the logic, like I gave this much X dollars and this is what happened. Or it's also emotional, right? It could be that they've had family members that have dealt with something, or maybe some causes really tied to their heart, those types of things. And in your writing style and how you're writing this grant request is actually how you will get that money given to you. Okay, so data helps. Put data in it as much as possible. Includes stats on the population that you serve, progress, and satisfaction. Maybe if there's like people, you took a survey at the end and people told you how much it really helped them. Okay, those are types of things that should be in your grant proposal as well. But remember, front load it. Make sure you address the problem. Make sure you talk about how their money would be used, and maybe thanking them for past donations because they've helped out before. And then from there, giving them the facts and figures and testimonials and all of that. Okay, so that's really the rule of thumb for grant writing. I know it's not a full course, but it should start you somewhere. All right, let's talk about some real life examples. This is one that I've heard about that I personally have not done, but I heard about a recreational therapist that did a pajama prom. Okay, so everybody dressed up in their pajamas. It's for seniors in their community, and local businesses donated snacks, decorations, and raised money through a raffle as part of it. Silent auction, those types of things. They gave some stuff that could be given away. Not only was it fun, but they brought the community together, and it got local news coverage in this case. It helped with future donations because people saw how much fun they're having and how much of an impact it was on the seniors. So that's a great idea right there. doing something that's noteworthy, documenting it well, maybe getting, lots of camera footage and showing how good it is so that it can be shared. That stuff can be picked up by your local news. And then from there, who knows what it's going to do next. All right, let's wrap up today. We're going to talk about this. Budgeting and fundraising may not be the most glamorous part of your job as a recreational therapist, but it is important. It is the thing that allows you to do what you're doing. Okay? So if you don't focus on budgeting, if you're not a good steward of your finances in your work situation, then you're not going to have more finances. Nobody's going to give you more money to show them how much more you can overspend or do things incorrectly, right? You need to show them that you're good with the money, okay? And then from there, they might give you some more, okay? So let's do some takeaways. Always track your expenses and plan your budget in advance so you know how much you're going to spend and what you're going to spend it on. That's a great way to make sure you stay within whatever numbers you set. Fundraising doesn't have to be big. It could be a small thing, okay? Use community connections that you have or those on your team. Ask them if they know some people. A lot of times social workers know people. Nurses know people. All these people know people, okay? And then hear about some client success stories that might inspire some donors to give to a program. Keep good records to show the value of your programs, right? When you write those grants, you need to show them why the thing worked or what the outcome was. And so document. Okay, guys? So thank you so much for stopping by and watching this episode number 37 of the Smart Start Recreational Therapy Insights YouTube channel. Guys, all right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked this episode, please hit that subscribe button and that like button, the little thumbs up under the video. Hit that notification bell if you want to get notified that these episodes, when they come out every Monday at 7 a.m. Central. And we've enjoyed making these. Again, this was episode 37. We're on our way to our goal of 52 episodes in a year, so one a week. And we are on track. That is amazing. And guys, thank you so much for all that you've done. Next week, we're going to be talking about reimbursement. So like when you bill insurance or when your hospital bills insurance, how to ensure that you're going to be getting money for those programs. Okay, that could involve some codes, that could involve some other stuff. We'll be talking about all that. So if you're interested in that topic, come on and watch next week's episode 38. All right, guys, and happy Monday. And don't forget, have a great week. And as always, recreational therapists, stay classy.